All right, we only have a couple games left on this card. Next up, 4:25 p.m. Tennessee Titans at Seattle Seahawks. I don't want to call it Lumen Field, but it is. Seattle, Washington. All right, let's take a look at this spot here.
Elliot V is aging himself with that Crystal Waters comment in the chat. Just saying.
The Chargers open up at minus. Oh, sorry. The Seattle opens up at -6 at plus 101. That moved to 5.5. Then Pinnacle is the first to move it to 5. So Pinnacle hanging a 5 for the Seahawks. This total went from 52.5 up to 54. So we see a 1.5 point move to the over and a 1 point move to the Titans. Let's see if the money shows us why. 3,694 tickets in, and it does. 51% of the tickets on the Titans, but 69% of the cash. Then 37% of tickets on the under and 90% of cash on the under. So that doesn't follow suit. So the total is confusing, but it makes sense why the market is moving towards these Tennessee Titans. They opened up their season by being embarrassed 38-13 at home by the Cardinals. Tannehill was under pressure all game long. I mean, he got sacked 6 times. 21 for 35 for 212 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Chester Rogers was their leading receiver, 4 catches for 62 yards. A.J. Brown did not look good, 4 catches for 79 yards. And Julio Jones already in Vrabel's doghouse. That unsportsmanlike penalty was costly. And then he just gets 3 catches for 29 yards. Derrick Henry did not look like the 2,000-yard rusher from last year, running 17 times for 58 yards. The defense did not look good at all. The secondary was constantly exposed. They only got 2 sacks, one by Jeffrey Simmons, one by Harold Landry. Seahawks got their season off to a great start with a 28-16 win at Indianapolis. Russell Wilson looked like he'd been running Shane Waldron's offense for years. No preseason snaps for Russell Wilson, and the Seahawks open with 2 touchdowns on their first 2 drives. He has a perfect passer rating of 158.3 in the first half. He winds up at 152.3. That's the second highest single game rating of his entire career. 18 for 23, 254 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Tyler Lockett, 4 catches for 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. DK Metcalf, 4 catches for 60 yards, 1 touchdown. Chris Carson ran the ball 16 times for 91 yards. Bobby Wagner was a monster all over the field, 13 tackles. They got sacks from Rasheem Green, Benson Mayowa, and Darrell Taylor. They've now won 12 of their past 13 games on the early Sunday time slot. They lose Penny Hart to a concussion and Rashad Penny to a calf injury. So Titans were embarrassed, but market moving towards them from 6 to 5. Is that a mistake on the opening line, or do you agree with the spot and just think that it's just a few too many points for the Titans? Take it away, my man, Bebsie. We have Titans at Seahawks.
I agree. I think it's too many points to give the Titans. Look, this Titans team, yeah, they were abysmal. They were embarrassed last week. They're not all of a sudden bad. They've been consistently good with this team over the last few years. It's not like they're over the hill. They're not terrible. They had a terrible game. So I'm not betting against the Seahawks again. We talked about this. People who bet against the Seahawks often probably don't have a ton of money right now. But to me, this is just a good spot. If you want to jump in, take the points with Tennessee. I think they, at the very least, keep this close. The big concern for Tennessee is their secondary. Their secondary was brutal last year. Their secondary looked awful this week. And now they're facing Russell Wilson and Lockett and Metcalf are a nasty duo. So I don't know. I'm not betting it. I do think Tennessee keeps this close. I think that's too many points to give a team that is this talented. And they had to get away from Derrick Henry early. I don't know if they'll have to do that again this week. So we'll see. I lean Tennessee. I'm not going to bet it. And as far as the point total, I mean, it really depends on who's up at half. Because if Seattle's rolling and scoring touchdowns, it's going to go way over. Are these props going to be after a terrible game? Is this a spot for us? Burgundy bets. I would like to think that the Derrick Henry props will be a good look this week, but they never seem to drop that much. I still think he's going to be floating around. My early guess for that is it'll be around 90 yards, which I'm not willing to bet again, because if they get scored on early and often, they're going to have to get away from that run game again. However, Derrick Henry's not going to have 2 bad weeks in a row.
Seems like a Titans bounce back spot. It seems like a huge number to offer the Titans at right now. Overreaction. The Sharps know it immediately and start betting the Titans. Seems like the Titans can cover here. I just lost an alarming. I mean, imagine what my week would have been like had I not been on them. It just seems like I have to have confidence and go back to the well, fade the Seahawks. But maybe this is just a bias because I want to go back to the well with the Colts as well. Titans have to be the play at plus 5.5. That's just too many points for a team that's questioning everything and is going to be so serious, taking everything seriously all week. I am going to. I plan now. I'll sit and look at it after the game, but I plan on moving on the Titans at plus 5.5. I just think it's too many points. Titans plus 5.5, a bounce back spot for them. I agree with the Sharps. I'm going to follow the Sharps here and see where that takes me. So I plan on moving the Titans plus 5.5.